Buzz with Jess Lujan.
We're back with the Attorney General Liz Barrett Anderson and Acting Chief Prosecutor Basil O'Malley. We're going to switch gears a little bit here.
Okay.
Made the news here last week. You had a couple opinions, or not a couple opinions, you had an opinion, basically. First was that public health did basically what they needed to do in accordance with the law. The following day you came out and said, based on, after reading through the Ninth Circuit's ruling, you read that, hey, you made the recommendation, Governor, you need to follow suit. We're here today, that's not been done. Again, what prompted, what was the one thing, because there was issue with the governor, said, wait, the court has been divided, the Sixth Circuit is I mean, the reason why the Supreme Court is hearing this thing, because it's the Sixth Circuit case. And the Ninth Circuit is said this, the Sixth Circuit said this, that's why the Supreme Court. So it's based on a divided court rule.
Correct, yeah.
So please, make us, I don't know, can you make us understand where we're at?
Oh, well, that's a pretty broad question. You're right. When the various circuits, there's 9 circuits, make different rulings, especially on constitutional questions, it's the role of the Supreme Court to intervene and for the entire nation set the ruling on it. And so that's why the Supreme Court is going to hear this 29th Guam time and 28th
next Wednesday, our time,
yeah.
Tuesday.
I hope I'm
DC
awake,
time.
because I'd love to. I'd love to hear it. It seems to be an issue that for the last 20 years, it's not just the last 10 years, this issue of same-sex marriage has been around since maybe the early 90s, and then it started to fire up in the first decade of the 21st century. But it was when the Supreme Court in 2013 issued what was called the Windsor case that responded to a congressional piece of legislation, the DOMA case. I'm sorry, the acronym, I can't remember right now, but it was a federal statute that said federal benefits could not be given to persons of the same sex. Well, the Supreme Court struck that down. It did not specifically address same-sex marriage, but it came real close. The majority said at that time, well, we don't have the issue of same-sex before us just yet. The minority said, are you kidding? It's here. Why aren't we answering it? So 2013 goes by, and then these cases started kicking up all over the nation. And the Ninth Circuit was very active in reviewing these cases. And the Ninth Circuit finally in October of 2014 came out with the pivotal Lotta versus Otter case that stated marriage is a fundamental right. And in order for a state to set restrictions and prohibitions on a fundamental right, the state has to have a compelling interest.
Now, if my understanding is correct, now I don't know what cases, I don't know if it's Skinner versus or whatever case it may be, that in a sense that the marriage is fundamental right, but if a ruling was read out completely fundamental right for procreation, basically for the continuance of life, so it brings the case to again, in favor of same-sex marriage. You stop at fundamental right, but if you read the whole ruling, there's a fundamental right for procreation, for the continuance of the creation of life, it undoes the case. I mean, that's my read.
The Ninth Circuit did not buy that argument as a sufficient compelling interest of a state. That strict scrutiny standard for a fundamental constitutional right is very, very strong, and the Ninth Circuit just kept checking all of the arguments that have been made by those who are against same-sex.
Now, let me ask this, and this is, again, something that I asked a couple attorneys for this, and I'm going, okay, let's jump forward, because I personally think that the ruling's going to come down, you said it's going to come down around June, maybe mid-June,
right.
okay? I think it's going to be a 5-4 in favor of, again, same-sex marriage. I think Judge Kennedy
Justice Kennedy.
Justice Kennedy, I'm sorry, it will be probably the deciding swing vote. So we're taking bets here.
Okay.
Is betting illegal or illegal?
Well,
We're gonna have to
I don't gamble on the Supreme Court of the United States.
We don't know what's legal and illegal anymore. So you're gonna have to frequent the show, okay? But anyway, one of the questions that I asked a couple of attorneys, I said, okay, let's jump forward to June, and we have a ruling, and it's in favor of same-sex marriage. I go, okay, so. You can't compel a religious organization to say now you have to perform same-sex marriages, right? You can't do that. But if a same-sex couple were to go to approach a established religious institution and say, "Can you marry me?" and they say, "Well, no. I mean, our doctrine or does not permit us, and we don't have the autonomy to do so." Okay, no problem. But now, can I file a suit and says, "Okay, well, I can't, you're protected under your freedom of religion."
No,
okay?
because private religious groups are not states, there's no state action.
But my question is here, can I sue them then to remove their nonprofit status now? Because I'm the people, I'm the government, and I'm giving you that authority based on a government, it's not a church doctrine, but can I now sue you to
A 501(c)(3)
501(c)(3) because now you have discriminatory practices.
I don't know the answer to that, Jesse. I just know that when state action interferes with fundamental constitutional rights, then you can go into court.
Sure.
There have been a lot of cases dealing with fundamental rights with gender, such as young girls wanting to be part of team baseball, Boy Scouts, etc. And to the great extent, it all depends on the facts that you present. But when you're a nonprofit, you are a private entity. That's not state action, but you do raise the point. If a nonprofit has federal funds that's supporting the nonprofit, then there's potentially an argument that there is state action involved.
Okay.
I'm talking very much legalese.
Okay. The people of Guam voted medicinal marijuana. Okay. I had spoken to Judge, I forget her name.
Peggy Hora.
Peggy Hora.
Yes.
She was my guest as a guest of the presiding judge here on a forum that they had out here in Guam. And she looked at our statute. She goes, "You have one of the better written statute of a lot of states. It's better than California's. There are areas of concern. And she said, I would highly recommend that this group that comes together, that's supposed to put the rules and regs together, that they have someone of legal knowledge, and short of saying either a judge or a lawyer or someone from the AG's office and all that." And I could be wrong, and please correct me if I'm mistaken here. I was looking at the round table or
the composition.
That they had, and I'm looking at the table. I said, "Liz is not there. I think I know most of your attorneys." I said, "One of the recommendations is make sure that you get this input, because it's very important. And at some point you're going to be called in and you're going to say, 'Man, I could have saved you from this thing.'" Are you a part of this group that's putting it together?
No, I'm not, Jesse. And I said during the campaign of whether I'm invited or not, I want to be a part of that. I've been so busy with so many different things in the first 3 months of my tenure. It's been on my mind. They met with Senator Tina Muñoz-Barnes just recently, but you're right. I am the counsel for the government. I think it would be a brilliant idea to ask me to be there.
I mean, we need to do this right. We need to do this right. I mean, there are some things. I mean, there are other places looking at us. I mean, even the CNMI is looking at us, to see what we do, basically how we're going to handle this. And so we are here. This is the last, again, U.S. port, basically, before you go into Asia. And so they're looking at us closely. We need to do this right.
They're probably looking at my involvement at the tail end rather than the front end, which is usually and normally the Attorney General's office comes in after rules and regulations.
That's fine,
but that's not a smart way of doing it.
I would hate for you to come in the tail end and say, "Man, that work, you got to redo it." And,
I'll say that, Jesse, if they do that.
I would hate for that to happen, Yeah, I mean.
And it's important for me to work with the prosecutor's office, because for drug driving, DUID.
Right.
We need to be able to know how to train Guam police officers to be able to spot and recognize drivers who are drugged as opposed to alcohol.
And these are the guys that are going to be prosecuted.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we need to do it right. We need how to, we need to read the law, understand it, and the different interpretations. If you have 10 lawyers in there, you have 10 different interpretations. But your chief legal officer, I think, I hold more weight, in your case, and as the prosecutor's office, and you're the ones who are going to be taking the people that get arrested to court.
My concern is that I would assume that public health is doing a good job in terms of the health aspect, but we need to be involved in terms of the law enforcement aspect.
Okay.